Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Jack and welcome back to another video. So first and foremost, shout out to everybody that came on to stream yesterday. I really appreciate it. Yesterday I originally streamed on Twitch, and after a few hours, there was hardly anybody in the stream. There's only like one person, and shout out to them, by the way, but there was maybe other people that kept on coming in and out, but maybe it was a total of like 2 or 3 people, and nobody was talking. They were just coming in and out, so I said, okay, let's go stream on YouTube and see what happens. And lo and behold, we had a consistent 6 to 8 people, and there was a lot more conversation in the chat, that's for sure. So thank you very much. And the interaction with you guys is the primary reason why I stream. And yes, I will be having another one today. At least I'm planning to. And unless something changes or whatnot, but I am planning to. And I'll do you one better. I'm even going to stream at 1080p at 60 FPS because, well, I got the internet power to do so, so I might as well use it. So anyway, got some bare bones domination over here. So for those of you guys that always wanted to see me play domination, well, here you go. But anyway, that's not exactly what this topic is about. I basically am borderline excited for the Modern Warfare 4 reveal, or COD 2019, that's going to happen this month. Now, obviously, it hasn't been officially confirmed that the reveal is going to be this month, obviously, but it's usually at this month and or 6 months after the release of the current Call of Duty game. So we're certainly due for it. So I'm really excited about it, and if it is Modern Warfare 4, it really will be a fresh and yet familiar breath of air to return back to the Modern Warfare series. And just like every other COD, I'm sure there's going to be something to get used to because it happens every year, regardless of whether you're a good player or not. Trust me when I tell you, even the good players have to get used to the slight changes, additions, and omissions that every single Call of Duty presents every year. So at this point, I think we're just wanting we're just wanting the basics to be good. In other words, it's Infinity Ward, so I think we're pretty much expecting good hit detection. And no specialists, unless those specialists are the specialist strike package from Modern Warfare 3 and or Ghosts. So I think that's the only form of specialist at this point that's going to be acceptable, that's for damn sure. So, and with that being said, I also wanted to know in this video what you guys are expecting, or have you gotten to the point to where you're really not expecting anything anymore? Now, again, this is Infinity Ward now, more than ever, though. I mean, especially since right now everybody hates the hell out of Treyarch, and I sure as hell don't blame them as well. I don't blame anybody for hating Treyarch. I like them a hell of a lot less, not because of the my dislikes of their decision making for Black Ops 4, not necessarily from that, but just the way that they seem cocky, don't they? They seem really cocky, and they definitely don't for whatever reason want to listen to the community. It's like they just refuse to basically get the point of, like, this is the way it is, this is what we want, why can't you guys give us what we want? I think they're the only developers at this point that don't give us what they want. What we want. They rather do what they want, and they're too They got, like A-Thought said, man, these guys seem to have their heads up their asses or whatnot. So, but yeah, you got guys like Infinity Ward, especially for the last few years, that have been extremely humble, and they're looking in any way, shape, or form to please the community, which is basically what a developer should be doing, within reason, of course. And Sledgehammer, of course. I wasn't too crazy about World War II. Obviously, the game was better after the big overhaul, but still. But if you look at overall World War II overall, it was just I mean, if you look at the developers in terms of what they're trying to do to make their game better, and in terms of how they respond to what we want as a community when we voice our opinion, that's great. It's really nice to not get ignored, and that's the biggest thing I'm expecting this year from Infinity Ward, is that I don't want us to be ignored. And by the way, speaking of Sledgehammer, by the way, Michael Condrey got on Twitter recently and basically said like $30 for a cosmetic, not on my watch. So that kind of makes me think a little bit. Now, obviously, this guy was a former founder of Sledgehammer Games. Now, is it because he was the founder, or one of the 2 founders, which the other one being Glenn Schofield, if I'm not mistaken? Does that basically give him some sort of power over over Activision because he founded the studio in the first place, in terms of if he didn't want something to be in the game, like for instance charging $30 for a cosmetic, or Activision having total control over microtransactions, did he have a certain amount of power in that? That got me thinking. Now, first of all, I respected the tweet because I basically was like, okay, this is I like what he has to say. I mean, he's not part of the Call of Duty thing anymore, so I guess now he can pretty much say whatever he wants or whatever he feels. Maybe because he doesn't have an obligation or something like that, or maybe he's not, part of the maybe he's not part of the he's not under, to a certain extent, under control from Activision. But the thing is, if what he's saying is true, and if it was under his watch and they asked him to do something like that, does he have some sort of power? Because if you look at Sledgehammer, even before Condrey left, if you look at it in terms of the way the microtransactions were done compared to what Treyarch is doing or whatnot, it really makes you think, though, doesn't it? Or is Treyarch just money hungry? Or is it that I don't know what the hell it is? I think Mark Lamia is basically the studio head, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if he's the founder. I gotta look up all this shit before I start making this commentary. This wasn't exactly as deep as I wanted this commentary to go. As you guys know, I don't pre-write my commentaries. I do think about them, but sometimes the commentary ends up taking a mind of its own, and I end up speaking my mind, which is great. I think it's the best way to do a commentary. I personally just want to keep it real, and that's one of the reasons why I do not script my commentaries. At most, I'll write down a list of things I want to go over, like if I'm doing a top 10, or if I'm doing a 57 things wrong with Black Ops 4 video, so I don't miss anything, which I have done, by the way, in case you didn't catch that. But the thing is, I mean, it really makes you think a little bit. It's like, how much we know that Activision has a lot of power because they're the publisher, right? But I'm starting to think that maybe, depending on the studio, maybe there's a limit to exactly how much power they can have over the microtransactions or whatnot. Because Infinity Ward does things their own way, Treyarch does things their own way. Or maybe should I say the Activision way in terms of Treyarch, because the proof is in the pudding, man. Treyarch is by far the worst since Black Ops 3. At the whole microtransaction game, seriously. And in this time, it's even worse than it was in Black Ops 3. So, and Sledgehammer does it way, way, way better, and so did Infinity Ward. So, but the thing is, please correct me, guys, if I'm wrong, but isn't Infinity Ward 100% owned by Activision, if I'm not mistaken? And the thing is, if Treyarch isn't, or if Sledgehammer Games wasn't, or whatnot, I mean, you just never know. Again, just so much political stuff in between that I just don't fully have all the answers to, but perhaps you guys do. So if you do, please give me some clarity, educate me. Let me know down in the comment section exactly what the deal is. I'm sure there's a few things that you guys won't know, but in terms of knowing more than I do, you guys might. So please feel free to educate me. But the thing is, with Modern Warfare 4, it's very, very interesting that obviously the reveal is going to be this month. And like, again, I'm trying not to hold my breath. I mean, every single year when a new Call of Duty gets announced or released or whatever the deal is, I have high hopes every time, and I always want to play it. Even if I were to say that I'm going to stop COD, there's always going to be that part of me that's always going to want to play it because I've got high hopes, and I'm hoping it's going to be the Call of Duty that we want and deserve, because we do deserve it, because we make these guys a shit ton of money. But the thing is that I'm holding my breath. I mean, I'm trying not to hold my breath. I'm trying not to set my expectations too high, because again, the more disappointed I end up being, the more angry I get, the more my blood pressure raises and all that kind of stuff. And I don't want that shit, and Call of Duty certainly isn't worth that. I mean, I'm passionate about Call of Duty, but it isn't worth the expense of my health, or nor anybody else's, if you guys get the point. And the thing is, though, but I will say, though, that I am very relieved and happy that Infinity Ward is up next. And I don't know which developer is my favorite now. I'd probably say maybe Infinity Ward, because I ended up, after giving Infinite Warfare a legitimate shot way after its release, and I do mean way after, I ended up not only enjoying it, but appreciating it, and also enjoying the fact that, well, you can actually grind. It has a grind factor to it, and the fact that the developers, even though their game is obviously not perfect or maybe not even liked by the community, I like the fact that the developers are just a lot more humble, and they at least address the community for the most part when it comes to certain things. just like the basics, you know. And Treyarch, on the other hand, only just talks about whatever they want to talk about, and that's pretty much it. So I mean, that's what I see, and I'm really starting to think that Treyarch just doesn't really give a shit this time in terms of the regular multiplayer. Either that or something happened. I still have this theory that something happened within Treyarch. Something happened and something's not right. So it definitely doesn't feel like a traditional Treyarch Call of Duty. It just doesn't feel the same, at least not completely. So it's like part of the formula is missing, and obviously Battle Royale is what they're putting most of their attention on. And from a money standpoint, like I've explained in previous videos before, I get it. But at the same time, it's like, why are you treating your multiplayer community like shit? Why are you ignoring them? Why this? Why that? I mean, it's like, yeah, you're Treyarch. You guys were the best at one point, but that doesn't give you an excuse to be cocky or whatnot, or to find ways or clever ways to basically ignore your audience when they're talking to you. And then when you do address them, you say, "Oh, hey, I don't want to hear it." You know what I mean? Or just shut up. It's like, no, that's not the way to do it. I mean, I was a server for so long, and I might have to temporarily go back to that, even speaking now, just for a couple days out of the week, so I can save some money a little bit, so I can have something extra. But I used to be a server for years, and never have I ever, even though I wanted to, never have I ever told any customer that I was serving, even though some of them might have been treating me like shit, never have I ever told them to shut up, or it never got to that point. Was I tempted? Absolutely. But it never got to that point. So it's like, and on top of that, I sure as hell wasn't making as much money as Vaughn here was, or anybody else that's making this game. So, and I do mean anybody else that's making this game, because devs will make, I don't know, anywhere from 50 to 70K a year. I sure as hell wasn't making that. So, and I was dealing with shit on a regular basis, and sometimes for 12 hours a day. And then you got these guys over here that basically either ignore us or tell us to shut the hell up whenever they want to address something that we constantly keep telling them. Like, for instance, if I had a customer that constantly kept on telling me, like, this needs to be fixed, I'd address it, or at least say something to them. And here's some more proof right here that Treyarch just doesn't give a damn. Look at the score. It's it has me at 46 kills, and the score, and it keeps on getting stuck after every game on bare bones at 46 kills. And I obviously got 69 kills and 10 deaths. So that's just another thing. It's like, wouldn't they notice this before they released the bare bones playlist? It's like, what is going on? It's like, was it a bug that was hard to find and they wanted to release the playlist in the first place because we wanted it? I mean, there's just so many mixed signals, man. But overall, that's my Treyarch theory and my thoughts, and of course about Modern Warfare 4. Originally, this commentary was just going to be about the Modern Warfare 4 release, but it just made more sense to talk about all this shit. So I like to keep it real, and I like to do it as it flows. So, but anyway, guys, let me know down in the comment section what your opinions are, and please, as always, feel free to educate me. And I'm going to try to stream later on today at 1080p, 60 frames per second, as I mentioned earlier, and I hope to see you guys there. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, let me know, and if you didn't, let me know what I can do to make my videos better, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.